longtime advisor to Mayor Mike Duggan on neighborhood economic development. She's a community organizer. She was a resident advocate. She was the mayor's director of community engagement for 2 years, and she played a key role in building community support for many of the city's marquee development projects. She is now only the second woman to serve as deputy mayor in the city's history. Please welcome my friend, Deputy Mayor Malia Howard.
Great morning. Thank you so much, Rochelle. Great morning, everyone. One of my greatest joys as deputy mayor is really and truly watching, learning, and listening, really focusing on the exceptionalism of us as a people and as a city. And it just brings me so much joy to see all of the great things that we are all doing on a daily basis here in Detroit. Nowhere else is that more evident in our arts community. Every day, when Rochelle first started as our arts director, and she really immersed me into this space of artists. I don't perceive myself as an artist. I draw stick figures. But I do love to color, and I build Legos, and so that's my form of art. But she really immersed me in it, the art alleys, all the murals, and it's really just opened my eyes to all the great things that we have and who we are as a people as we work through showing who we are through our art and our contributions to this community. And so when I was in DC visiting recently and being able to have an opportunity to go to our national galleries, just to see us completely represented was such an amazing thing for me. And so, yes, I'm going off of my talking points. But it's just truly an honor to be here with you all today. So on behalf of Mayor Mike Duggan, who oversees the best creative workforce in the country, I want to congratulate all of our ACE Honor Medal winners. You do the work. You show us your passion, your devotion, your conviction and commitment to not only our city, but to our community nationally and globally for some of us. So as we continue to rise here in Detroit, we will continue to assist and encourage our young new artists, but we will always support our veteran artists, the ones who are literally on the forefront of the change that is being made in this city on a daily basis. So with that, I thank you, and I'm just, again, just honored to have this opportunity to be here with you. And thank you, Ms. Riley, for your vision and continued work in this space, because without you being here to do this, we wouldn't be doing this. So there you go. Thank you.
I'm going to write a book about that, the exceptionalism of us. I love when I hear phrases that absolutely describe Detroit. And now I'd like to welcome, and for anybody who doesn't know this, the Detroit Office of Arts, Culture, and Entrepreneurship, which is designed that way because this is about entrepreneurs and not a hobby. This is about real people who do this for a living. We have 2 people. That's our office, 2 people. Now we're lucky we have 2 more people because of the arts alleys. But everything outside the arts alleys is 2 people and a fantastic graphic artist who does all the stuff I ask her to do. So anytime you think about or you see all of this stuff we're doing, just know that it's me and Lacey Holmes. So I'd like to bring up project manager Lacey Holmes right now.
Good morning. Oh, come on, Detroit. I know it's early, but what up, though? Good morning. All right. So as Rochelle just said, for those of you who don't know me, I am Lacey Holmes, Project Manager for Arts Initiatives for the City of Detroit's Office of Arts, Culture, and Entrepreneurship. We like to call ourselves Detroit ACE, and we hope you call us that, too. For those of you who already know me, hey. Our mission is to partner with organizations across the region to enhance and grow investment in the fine and performing arts, culture, and history with a focus on artistic partnership and support for Detroit's creative workforce. Today, at the third annual ACE Honors, we are honoring 5 exceptional individuals who have committed mentorship, leadership, and a community to the arts in Detroit. When we talk about leadership, I have to talk about someone who is so important in leadership for Detroit ACE, and that is Crystal Perkins, Director of General Service of the City of Detroit General Services Department, which oversees more than 300 public parks and 17 recreation centers, as well as supervises lot maintenance and city-owned business. General Services Department, or GSD, has a mission to ensure that all residents have opportunities for recreation within walking distance of our homes. And GSD is also the home of Detroit ACE. Please welcome Ms. Crystal Perkins.
Well, good morning. As Lacey mentioned, I'm Crystal Perkins. I am the director of the General Services Department. I've watched in awe, as we all have, how Detroit's arts and cultural scene has changed over the last 5 years under the leadership of Rochelle Riley and the Detroit Arts Alleys and Arts, Culture, and Entrepreneurship. But beyond the dozens of events and statues and murals and music, I have watched how ACE lifts up and support the artists in this city. They've raised more than $1.5 million to support programming, provide stipends, and opportunities. And none has been more important than this event. Celebrating our veteran artists and our stars in the city shows leadership, shows appreciation, and shows the next generation how we lift up the arts and culture scene in this city. We should all be proud. I know I am. And with that said, we would like to move on in the show, but I want to give a special congratulations to the 5 honorees today. You have paved the way, and you have shown our youth in this city that arts and culture is important to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now for a woman who needs no introduction, but since we're all here and looking so nice, I'm going to give one anyway. Rochelle Riley became the city's first Director of Arts and Culture in May of 2019, so she will celebrate her 6th anniversary next week. She will celebrate her 6th anniversary next week doing what she does 7 days a week, advocating for and raising funds for the betterment of Detroit's creative workforce. Thanks to her, our office of 3 people works like an office of 10 people. That is the truth. So much that the city has received American Rescue Plan funding. The first thing she did was get 2 more employees temporarily to oversee the creation of 9 city-sponsored arts alleys, which will join the Belt Alley and Eric Howard's Arts Alley in Southwest Detroit. As beacons of hope for neighborhood beauty, it helped that her background as a nationally syndicated columnist has made her job easier because she knows everybody. And they're all in her cell phone. She gets things done. From America's first city-sponsored COVID memorial in 2020 to the first National Street Art Summit in 2023. From asking the mayor to name a poet laureate, hi Patrick, a composer laureate, and historian. Her devotion has not only been to making Detroit a destination for new artists, but a place where artists who have stayed here can thrive here. Today, as all cities face dire times with massive cuts to funding for the arts, we know that we, ACE, will be working even harder to make sure that our creative workforce in Detroit stays in Detroit. Please welcome our Director of Arts and Culture, Rochelle Riley, to deliver the 2025 State of the Arts Address and kick off the 3rd Annual Detroit ACE Honors.
So this is the point where I change the world or get in a lot of trouble. When I moved to Detroit in the year of our Lord 2000, there was no major chain supermarket. I had to take my daughter to Southfield to the movies on Fridays, and carjackings were a way of life. Woodward Avenue was nearly deserted, marked by the hulking hole of the former Hudson's department store. My newspaper did a news story when a rental car company opened downtown. Friends in other states asked me for years, what the hell were you thinking? I knew what I was thinking. I wanted to do what artists do, make a difference and improve the way we live. And look what art and design and development and a love of this city have done. Anybody who walks around Detroit now and doesn't see that we are living in the Detroit that we dreamed of, that we wanted, that we worked for, they're either blind or need to move. We cannot live without art, without the fine and performing arts, without music, dance, theater, film, without sculptures and murals and high school musicals that birthed future Broadway stars. When Diane Carroll became the first African-American woman to win a Tony for lead actress in a musical, it was a role she perfected on the stage at the Fisher Theater. I was just in New York at the Lucille Lorton Awards honoring off-Broadway productions and performances where they honored my friend Woody King Jr., an iconic producer who jump-started the careers of Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson and a lot more people. I was thrilled for Detroit to be in the house, but more than that, Detroit was expected in the house. People were excited to see us there. They were thrilled about what is happening in Detroit, and people are talking about it. When Mayor Mike Duggan asked me to take this job on, one that hadn't been filled in almost 20 years, it did two things. It showed that city government could care about its creative workforce. Let me say that again, creative workforce. And it meant that Detroit was not just making a comeback in population, but also in its presence as one of America's greatest cities of the arts. The Diego Rivera murals are here in one of the nation's best art museums. Tiff Massey's sculptures are here, gaining global attention. Dr. Hubert Massey's murals are here and all over the state, and he's not here, our 2024 ACE Honors Medalist, because he's in Italy, honing and teaching one of the great mural methods, the fresco technique, a centuries-old way of doing murals where pigments are applied directly to wet plaster, creating a durable and permanent bond. Look at what I learned from Hubert Massey. I told him I was ready to fly to Florence and meet him in whatever city was near there where he is, but I can't, because I want to be here. This weekend is the Movement Festival, where Detroit will showcase techno in the place that put it on the map, the place that Berlin comes to visit because they know what time it is. But let's talk about 2024, a banner year for creative arts and culture and the ACE office. Last February, Jamon Jordan gave his annual Black History Month lecture, which was actually an American history lecture. Last April, the mayor appointed the new poet laureate, Jessica Care Moore, the first to be paid, thanks to Detroit ACE and the Ford Foundation. And the city showed the world how to entertain 750,000 people without incident at the 2024 NFL Draft. We watched the crowd celebrate football in the best draft ever, and I was just in Cuba with the press secretary for the mayor of Pittsburgh, who swears they're going to do better. I told her she'd be disappointed. But at our draft, the crowd watched amazing home folks do the Tamia Hustle on national television, and ACE was proud to work on that, although I still cannot do the Tamia Hustle. Last May, Detroit ACE joined Anthony and J.J. Curis for the opening of The Shepherd, a campus of excellence and genius that honors artists and entrepreneurship and is anchored by a century-old church transformed into a cultural arts center, a public park featuring giant sculptures by the late Charles McGee, and the home of MacArthur Binion Modern Ancient Brown Foundation. It also has a public skate park designed by Tony Hawk. ACE was proud to help behind the scenes to turn red tape green and promote the creation of this amazing arts district, districts that should exist across Detroit. Last June, ACE hosted the second Detroit ACE Honors, like we're doing today, awarding medals to 5 worthy individuals for their excellence for 25 years of service or more to Detroit. Last August, Detroit ACE co-sponsored a regional celebration of the Belle Isle Aquarium, the oldest continuously operating aquarium in America, 125 years old. ACE also turned the final corner on 9 arts alleys around the city that will change the way some neighborhoods function. These will be showcases that provide sites in addition to the Belt Alley downtown for residents to enjoy unique outdoor spaces near their homes. ACE is using arts and culture as catalysts for neighborhood improvement, and residents convinced us that joy could be found in alleys new commercial and residential spaces that will be like outdoor museums or new parks. Last September, the mayor appointed the first ever composer laureate, and he's here. Patrick Prouty would please say hello. That is a paid position thanks to Detroit ACE and the Ford Foundation. The city could not have chosen someone better than Patrick Prouty, a bassist, composer, conductor, and educator from Detroit, and he will perform the first city symphony in his role with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra in September. Last October, Detroit ACE partnered with the Joe Louis Greenway to commission a statue of the boxing legend that focused on his life away from boxing called Outside the Ring. This statue of Joe Louis will be a life-size bronze that celebrates his impact on golf as the first African-American to play in a PGA-sanctioned tournament, and he used to hold the Joe Louis Open tournaments right here in Detroit. ACE also has documented more than 725 murals on the Detroit mural map, including the biographies of the artists. The map is designed to make viewing the art easier, showcase the artists, and make people stop calling me to say, I'm over here on Mack Avenue, and this mural is fantastic. Who did it? I don't have to do that anymore, and we hope to hit 1,000 murals in 2026. But for all the work Detroit ACE did at home, it was impact outside Detroit that was most striking. Detroit ACE was invited to special summits in Boston and Philadelphia on the creative arts. I attended the Black Theater United Gala, where I reunited with Broadway star LaShawns, who ACE brought to Detroit last year to perform with the Detroit Youth Orchestra on stage at Orchestra Hall, a stage that some of those kids will one day own. As more people across the country and around the world watch Detroit's rise as the great American city it has always been, officials and community leaders from 15 different cities reached out to the ACE office, looking for ways to improve their arts and culture missions, to open offices, or to partner on projects. Besides speaking in Minneapolis and Akron and having arts and culture officials come from St. Louis, Akron, and New York to the first Performing Arts Summit, which we held, our team entertained a Cleveland City Council member and Cuyahoga County Commissioner who came to Detroit to see for themselves how to create an arts and culture mission. They later sent us a City Council resolution thanking us for giving them such a great weekend. We gave them a mural tour, we took them to a Maxwell concert, and of course we fed them because they needed to eat Detroit food. Lacey Howard just returned from an invitation-only summit in Tokyo, a sister city to Detroit that wants to increase partnership. And I've been interviewed dozens of times, most recently by an assistant professor of, get this, Geography of Media and Culture and Faculty of Spatial Sciences at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands. Yes, the Netherlands. The professor, Dr. Boulderman, brought a group of students to study Detroit, its culture, its lifestyle, and its way of life. The highlight of her trip, she said later, was having lunch at Mario's, a Detroit institution. But one of the most fun calls I got was from an official from Tulsa, known as the capital of Route 66. No, I'm not going to sing. Because it boasts 28 miles of the famous highway within its city limits. A city councilor working to create an Office of Arts and Innovation, and I like that name too, Arts and Innovation, was seeking insight from other cities who had achieved great things, and they had Detroit on the list. But she was also pondering a way to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Route 66 in November 2026. She wanted to showcase older cars and wanted to know where she could find some. Really? I said, have you ever heard of the Dream Cruise? She said no, and I told her what it was, and then I said, we should have a caravan of vintage cars from Detroit to Tulsa, the ultimate dream cruise. She actually got excited. So we'll let you know how that turns out. One would think that after a banner year like 2024, there would be some resting on laurels, but that isn't possible because 2025 has ushered in an attack on the creative arts and culture and history unlike anything seen in American history. While serving on the board of trustees of the Charles H. Wright Museum, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, and the Parade Company, I have seen clearly that the old way of doing things will no longer work for our creative workforce. It is time that we step up and make sure that Detroit remains the arts capital that it is. Present tense, is. That means supporting all workers. Every singer is a small business. Every actor is a small business. Every dancer, every musician, every filmmaker, every sculptor, every jewelry maker, every makeup artist, every film editor is a small business. Every author, and I'm working on my novel, is a small business. Thank you. We have hundreds and hundreds of workers who are small businesses who have to work for other businesses just to do their real jobs. It's time for that to change. When Detroit faced declaring bankruptcy, there was a fear that officials would sell the art housed at the Detroit Institute of Arts to pay the bills. It didn't happen because the community rose up, and thanks to that effort, the grand bargain, and the sacrifices of city retirees, the city survived, the art survived, and Detroit is thriving in many ways. But think about this. If a city will rise up to save the art at a museum, perhaps it can rise up to support the creative arts, which contribute more to the gross national product than the auto industry. If the city will rise up to ensure the future of an iconic art museum, then perhaps it could rise up to support an industry whose workforce could literally increase the city's revenue. I want to thank the departments whose leaders have been my support over these 5 years. The Department of Public Works, Ron Brundage, the Building and Safety Office's Dave Bell, and James Foster, whom I call the Godfather, because anytime I don't understand anything going on in city government, including the acronyms, I call him. And Mr. Foster explains it all. That's a book too, Mr. Foster Explains It All. Anyway, also the Department of Water and Sewers, Gary Brown, the entire Department of Neighborhoods, whose amazing community stewards are always here with me, and they include Kim Tandy, who is at the table in the back, and you better come up here and sit and eat some breakfast, and Eva Torres, and Carla Williamson. Where's Carla? And Carla Williamson, who's also here supporting one of our honorees today. They are always there when ACE needs them, and they're here today. Please give them a hand. I also want to thank again my team, and that's Lacey Holmes, who you met, Kristen Richardson, who's the graphic artist who's not here because she's finishing what we're taking to Mackinac Island next week, and Lydia Macklin-Camel, who is working on the arts alleys but also does everything else, and she's back at the table sitting with Kim. Please give her a hand. I want to thank some special guests here today who are here in addition to our guests of honor, and that's the Deputy Superintendent of the Detroit Public Schools Community District, Alicia Merriweather. My friend who is one of the greatest supporters of arts, culture, and education in this city, Dr. Glenda Price. The woman who is going to lead the energy mission for this city and this nation, because if we don't get energy and understand what that means, we're going to be lost, and that's Carla Walker-Miller from Walker-Miller Energy Services. My friend Steve Byrne, who is here, he's the head of the Freak Film Festival, which we must make sure goes on under that name or any other, because we will have film festivals in Detroit. We will have everything that happens anywhere in Detroit. There are several other people in the room. I see my friend Kelly Crump, one of the greatest actresses that we have in this city. She's sitting over there. And let me tell you, she's more than a supervisor. My partner in crime, who literally has to explain it. There used to be this television show called Clarissa Explains It All. So when I tell you Crystal explains it all, I have to call Crystal Perkins almost every week to explain something about city government. I don't care how many years it is. It's like, they have to do what? I have to fill out what? It has to this. Why can't I do it this way? And she very calmly and patiently keeps me in line, and that's Crystal Perkins, the head of GSD. Six years ago, and let me just take a minute now to thank Monica Morgan, who's here shooting. We were at Pancakes and Politics yesterday morning at 7:30, and she's here again today. She's one of the greatest photographers. She's always here when we need her, and that's why you're going to get great pictures when this is over, so that all of you will be able to see this celebration. So please, Monica Morgan, thank you. 6 years ago, Mayor Mike Duggan reinstituted the position of Director of Arts and Culture to city government for the first time in nearly 20 years. He tapped me to tackle this creative arts mission and connect with artists who had felt abandoned and foundations who had been filling in the gap. And I mean filling in the gap. The loss of that office in 2003 came during a change in leadership, where one mayor had someone in the post and the next two mayors did not. We are now approaching a new change in leadership. We cannot let change lead to a step backwards. Detroit has reached a pinnacle of success so high that we have garnered global attention, while reminding Michigan and even some Detroiters that Detroit has always been great. Every workforce development conversation should include the creative workforce, so that our artists, our creative workers, and everyone else in this city knows this is how bad we are. Not bad, good. Y'all know. Some of y'all lived through the 70s and 80s. So I really want to make sure that when we leave here and we celebrate these folks who have been amazing, and I mean really amazing, we have to remember that we're showing this excellence of these veterans to this whole generation of kids, like the ones we saw on the Fox Theater stage last week at the Evening of Fine Arts. If you have not been going, we just did it for the 3rd year. We had 700 kids. They displayed their art in the front lobby. They performed on stage. It was professional. It was amazing. And literally, we're going to be doing that every year. Chris Hillage swears we're going to have it at the Fox every year, but they deserve to be at the Fox because one day they will be on that stage at the Fox. And kids need to see that and know that. For that work to continue, we must find a way collectively to rise up and ensure that the industry of art, that business, which could bring much needed revenue to the city, does not die, and that we send our best talents to other cities where they think they're doing a better job. I don't want anybody to leave anywhere, anytime, anywhere because they can't get what they need here. We must do this because in Detroit, art is business, and business as usual will not work. So don't you worry about a thing. We are on the case to make sure that people know it. Thank you.
Everybody's got a thing, but some don't know how to handle it. Always reaching out in vain, just taking the things not worth having. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh no, 'cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. They say your style of life's a drag, and that you must go other places. Just don't you feel so bad when you get fooled by smiling faces. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh no, 'cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. When you get off your trip, don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Everybody needs a change, a chance to take out the new. Yeah. You're the only one who sees the chance you take yourself Hey, don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh no. Ba 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 ba. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. No, no. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. When you get off your trip, don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. Don't you worry, no. Don't you worry, no. 'Cause I'll be standing for you. Don't you worry about a thing. Ooh. Oh, 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 oh. Don't you worry about a thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
So much. Wait, come back so I can tell them who you are. So that's the surprise we do every year. This is Jada Fournay. Please give her another hand. She graduated at 16, is getting ready for her sophomore year at college, and she's finishing her last year with the Detroit Youth Choir, which you can tell. So thank you so much. Thank you. And now it's time for the bigger reason, besides my State of the Arts rant, that we're here today. And that is, it wasn't a rant, I was really sweet. I could have been, this was good. It's now time for us to present our ACE Honors Medal winners. What we will do is read you a little bit about them so you know who's getting, and then the person who we're reading about is going to come up and accept the medal. Lacey is going to help me with this. I'm going to do the first one. This is very important to me and to us. They're all very important, but we lost one of our honorees a couple of years ago, and we just want to make sure that we all understand, again, how long we've had the best in the country and the best in the world. So, Lacey, if you could join me. Our first honoree is Amp Fiddler. Not yet. Amp Fiddler, known as a global funk, hip-hop, and soul legend to the legends, whose influence is wide and generosity is both invaluable and immeasurable. The man was a genius. His skills and reach were expansive. Post-Motown, Amp Fiddler is the common thread connecting every generation and every genre. Born Joseph Anthony Fiddler on May 16, 1958 in Detroit, he grew up on the East Side neighborhood near Pershing High School, where he started his musical journey with the R&B group Enchantment. Y'all remember Enchantment? His musical influence bridged the gap between funk, R&B, and house music in the 1970s and 80s, and hip-hop and neo-soul music in the late 90s and into the 21st century. He was a member of Parliament Funkadelic, my favorite group of all time, in the 1980s, and worked with artists ranging from Prince and Maxwell to Jamiroquai and Seal, Leon Ware and Raphael Sadiq, Bootsy Collins and Tony Allen, A Tribe Called Quest and Slum Village, and so many more. Amp was a brilliant, creative talent whose independent musical journey served as a source of inspiration and testament to the power of courage, determination, and faith in your own abilities and distinct offering. Although embraced globally, Amp chose to remain in Detroit to cultivate more global ambassadors to ensure that our city's genius was on full display. Joseph Amp Fiddler and his contributions to music, he wasn't just a musician, he was a movement. That came from Hassan Elahi, Dean of the College of Fine Performing and Communication Arts. Accepting the award for the late Amp Fiddler is Tomby Stewart Fiddler. On behalf of Mayor Mike Duggan of the City of Detroit,
Our next honoree is Mr. Henry Harper, who has been in the art business since 1973. He doesn't just host exhibitions at his gallery, Harper Galleries and Art and Antiques near Belle Isle's historic MacArthur Bridge. He co-founded with Harold Braggs one of the largest grassroots continuous exhibitions in the state, the Detroit Fine Arts Breakfast Club. Originally from Toledo, Ohio, he moved to Detroit in 1991 and has been practicing as a fine arts advisor, mentor, and furniture expert ever since. His goal is to help young Detroiters accomplish their dreams. Every week, young artists and some veterans showcase their work at a gathering where you won't find breakfast, but you will find appreciation for local art. The group started in 2009 and met for years at Noni's Sherwood Grill in Northwest Detroit. It grew too large for the restaurant and moved the weekly gatherings to Marygrove Conservancy campus. Since its founding, artists have sold nearly $3 million worth of art in club exhibitions and
Say that part again.
nearly $3 million, big money, worth of art. And Mr. Harper hopes to have a permanent headquarters for the club soon. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Henry Harper. I'm sorry. On behalf of Mayor Mike Duggan of the City of Detroit,
Thank you. And I would like to thank the Academy.
Thank you.
Michelle, don't push me.
never.
The joys of being live. Next, we are honored to present Dr. Gloria Aneb House. Born in Tampa, Florida, and came to Detroit in 1967, she has published 4 poetry collections: Blood River, 1983, Rain Rituals in 1989, Shrines in 2003, and Medicine in 2017. Under her chosen name, Aneb Kogasile. Thank you. She has been an activist since the student and civil rights movements of the 1960s. During the Black Arts and Black Consciousness movement, House was among a community of artists that included poet Sonia Sanchez, poet and founder of the Third World Press, Haki Madhatubi, South African poet laureate Carole Morriseau, and playwright Ron Miller, dancer, choreographer Jackie Hilsman, and poet and founder of the Broadfied Press, Dudley Randall. House has also been active in the free speech movement while attending UC Berkeley. After leaving university to teach in Freedom Schools in Selma, Alabama, she worked as a field secretary in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. She drafted, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC. She drafted SNCC's statement against the Vietnam War, the first public opposition to the war to be issued by a civil rights organization. She is now a retired professor from Wayne State University and University of Michigan Dearborn. She has received the Kresge Foundation Eminent Artist Award in 2019 and remains active in the Detroit Independent Freedom Schools movement, a community effort to create free, African-centered, loving, educational experiences for Detroit's children and families. We give you Dr. Gloria House.
On behalf of Mayor Michael Duggan and the City of Detroit,
And we continue the honors with Njia Kai. A Detroit native, Cass Technical High School graduate, and Howard University alumna. She is the founder and director of Camp Detroit, co-founder of Cultural Arts Mentorship, a senior producer at the NKSK events, and an organizer of the Detroit African World Festival. She directs and curates major public events and cultural arts projects across Detroit. Her focus on community enrichment and placemaking initiatives engages her expertise in a wide variety of civic and community projects. She also directs arts-based summer and after-school programs for community youth, activating her philosophy that arts and culture are vital to healthy youth and human development.
I'm sorry.
Hear, hear. She enjoys a burgeoning film career on the East Coast, where she has notably served as a camerawoman on Julie Dash's classic 1991 film, Daughters of the Dust, which was added to the Library of Congress in 2004. That same year, she began programming events at Campus Meritus Park. Years before becoming Detroit's unofficial social director, she spotted a classified ad seeking a production coordinator for the Detroit Festival of the Arts and the University Cultural Center Association, the organization that would merge with the new Center Council to become the Midtown Detroit Incorporated. Ms. Kai has spent the next 24 years with the festival, ultimately becoming its director, known to the community as Mama Njia. She is a busy wife, mother, and proud grandmother.
On behalf of Mayor Mike Duggan and the City of Detroit,
Next, we honor Carole Morriseau.
yes.
An award-winning Michigan artist who has exhibited internationally, nationally, regionally, and at local galleries, including at the Detroit Artists Market and the Scarab Club. Her work emphasizes traditional painting and drawing techniques. A retired Detroit Public Schools art teacher, she was the recipient of a Fulbright Hayes Fellowship group project abroad, where she studied Afro-Brazilian art and culture. Her 3D interactive installation, Healing Wall, was created as a development of that journey. Her work was selected to be exhibited in the Fulbright 75th Anniversary Exhibition, a global event featuring 40 visual artists from around the globe. Her work was selected to hang in the Kresge Arts and Detroit main offices and can be found in collections across the U.S., Canada, Haiti, and Brazil, and in those of the CCH Pounder, and at Henry Ford Health. The University of Detroit, Mercy, and HDTV. She was selected for the Cuttyhunk Island Artist Residency in Massachusetts in 2019. She sits on the board of directors of two historical arts organizations, the Scarab Club Detroit and the Detroit Artists Market. She has been honored by the Arab American Artists Organization as an outstanding African American artist.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 ACE Honors Medal winners. Please give them another hand. I'm so excited. This is one of the best things we do. I want to make sure that you know that we're going to be printing a new edition of the ACE Honors booklet that will feature comments from the ACE medal winners about how they feel about being selected. And we'll also make sure we correct a little mistake that happened. And as a journalist, you know I cannot stand that. Joseph Fiddler, not Anthony Joseph Fiddler. So Tomby has already forgiven me. Thank you so much. In the coming weeks, you're going to receive that information, as well as some of their loved ones' reaction to their awards. But at this point, we'd like to thank our sponsors, the Kresge Foundation, who we honored the first year, the Ford Foundation, who we honored the second year, and the Hudson Weber Foundation. Is Michael here? Michael Shaw? Well, we'll make sure, because what we do with our foundations is they also get an ACE Honors Medal because of their work, and Hudson Weber helped co-sponsor and fund today's event. So please give Hudson Weber a hand. We also want to once again thank our partners in crime at City. I should not say about the city because you say crime and people, you know. So our partners at City Hall, the General Services Department, the Department of Public Works, the Department of Water and Sewer, Building and Safety, and especially the Department of Neighborhoods. And I introduced those Dons who are here, who are always here, Carla and Eva and Kim. But I want you to know, and I hope he's still here, is the real Ray Solomon still in the room? Did he have to take off? Well, let me just tell you, when Ray Solomon was living, I used to call him the real Ray Solomon and call his son the imposter, even though he was the head of the Department of Neighborhoods, one of the hardest working people at City Hall, and, you know, my buddy. Well, after his father passed, I said, well, you are now the real Ray Solomon, so you're going to have to really step up, and he has. So please give him a hand, and we'll let him know we did it. And I just want to mention that Carla Williamson is here in two positions today because she also helps every time, but she's also here to honor Njia, and she's over at her table. And I'm so proud that we are embedded with our artists, and we know who they are, and we love them, and we're working with them. Our honorees were chosen by a panel of artists and community leaders. ACE does not choose, and hopefully next year they will be chosen by the new Detroit Council of the Arts. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the fine and performing arts. Remember the work ahead. We must all work together collectively to make sure we continue to support our emerging artists, but celebrate our veterans. Thank you so much. We'd like our honorees to join us at Carole Morriseau's table so that we can get a photograph of all of them together, and then we're going to take one with the honorees and some of their loved ones. So make sure that we get Tommy, the most gorgeous woman in the room. Look. So, yes, I'm talking about you. And I also have to give a special thank you again to our media partner, WDIV Local TV, Local 4. I have been working with them since back in the days when I used to be on Flashpoint arguing about politics. They're always there. We always appreciate them. And where's Jay Coleman? Where's Jay Coleman in the back? Please give him a hand. And the team that he brought with him, Ian and... Yes, thank you. Please give them a hand. And at this point, I want to recognize if there are any elected officials in the audience. Oh, President Pro Tem was here. I'm sorry, James Tate was here. Please give him a hand in absentia. And I see Maureen is standing. Are you standing? Oh, you're just standing up. Okay, well, that's all right. You stand up. And then something they did at Pancakes and Politics yesterday that I liked. Are there any people who are running to be new elected officials? Would please stand. I see that Santil Jenkins is in the room. And the chief us here at the honoree table. Thank you. And again, I just want to make sure you understand the important relationship that we have with DPSCD. I don't do anything at all without making sure that our kids are involved, whether it's our Young, Gifted, and Woke exhibits. We just opened our ACE headquarters that has a youth gallery attached to it called Dream Makers, and we had our exhibition there. And we'll be exhibiting children's art so they know not only that they're artists, but that that's their future job. One kid even put a price tag on his picture for $50, so I guess I'm going to have to buy that. But I want to once again thank Alicia Merriweather for being here representing the district. And I don't think I've missed anyone. If I have, please forgive me. Yes, Henry. Henry is giving everyone a homework assignment. He wants us to see the exhibition that's now at the Virgil Carr Center, which he says is the best he's seen in 50 years. Virgil Carr. Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5, and on the weekend, 12 to 8. Best exhibition Henry has seen. Number 2, he has another homework assignment. And he is telling you to come back here to our museum, the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, to see Luminosity. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. Thank you so much. The final person that I want to thank, and this is just a personal thing for me, I appreciate that I have friends and church members in the audience. Carla Walker Miller is here, Daphne Curtis is here, the Whitakers are here, people who care about the arts, but there's somebody who cares about me. He's like my sort of adopted son because I don't have family here in the city except the family I've cultured, and y'all know who you are. But I want to thank Eric Thomas, who comes to everything that I'm doing. He is an influencer, he works like a dog, and I so appreciate him being here this early to support our ACE Honors. Thank you, Eric. And with that, Lacey, have I forgotten anything? Oh my God, yes. Let me stop right now and thank the staff of the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, including Ricardo Brooks, who make this so easy. And I want to thank our favorite catering company who we use all the time, Touch of Class. Lorenzo Spratling does an amazing job, and they're here. If you enjoyed the food, remember Touch of Class. And just literally be nice to each other. And I'm not going to end with Eric because, of course, I want our previous medal winners to stand, because you know who loves to wear her medal all year round, and every time she comes, she has it on, and that is my friend Deborah White Hunt. So Deborah, in her medal from last year. Do we have other medal winners? When I ordered these medals in 2021, because I knew I was going to start doing this sometime, I ordered 100 because I knew we'd keep doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. So thank you again so much. Thank you,